My quote is by Jamie Oliver. Sugar is the next tobacco, without a doubt. That industry should be scared. It should be taxed just like tobacco and anything else can that can frankly destroy our lives. Um, Everyone loves a sugary drink every now and then, but the effect of it that it has on our bodies is not beneficial in any way, shape, or form. Soda is one of the main contributions for all the diseases that we have nowadays, like obesity and cardiovascular disease. And I think we should tax these sugary drinks to help us with these costs on healthcare and other beneficial health organizations. I know some people have a problem with this because of, they don't want their drinks taxed or their foods taxed in that way. But I will explain why a small tax can make the world of a difference in the unhealthy community. So for the problem that we face is low income families have trouble paying unaffordable healthcare prices. So, for example, all the unaffordable insurance prices, like they all have skyrocketed since the 1960s. Deductibles that used to be, let's say, in the 100s and 200s back in the 1960s, now today we look at them and they're about around $8,000 to $10,000 at the end of the year, which is kind of ridiculous. And healthcare costs have risen also. For an average family of four, like in 2002, the average price for healthcare was about $9,000. Now, for that same family of four, in 2019, it ranges up to $26,000 each year, which is an incredible jump from that amount of time. And my other point is, even households that do have health insurance, like the low, even they like we even have problems paying for doctor bills and stuff like that because, I mean, not only the price of how much it's going to cost in the end with insurance. I mean, typically, even with insurance, the co-pays are still extremely high, like $75 to $100, and that's even with insurance, which is incredibly insane. I mean, the price of even medication is going up. I mean, for example, my medication last year was $15, and this year it jumped up $10 more to $25. So our prices are increasing all the time. And my third point is families have poor access to medical services, especially those with no insurance. So what I mean by that is that people with even with like the low priced insurance plans and everything like that, or people without insurance plans, they have problems finding different medical services and places that they can get health care from because most places usually only take insurance if you have it, and if you don't have it, then your prices are out of, totally ridiculous. And even when they do find them, they have to drive way out of town just to even see these doctors. So my solution to these problems is going to be a small taxation on these sugary drinks, and I believe it'll help these low-income families with number one, their health, and number two, their healthcare expenses. And my first point that I bring up is taxes will tremendously reduce the consumption of these drinks, which will result in fewer non-communicable diseases, which there were 429,000 deaths in 2016 in the United States alone caused by these non-communicable diseases. And what I mean by non-communicable diseases are diseases that include cardiovascular disease, cancer, chronic respiratory disease, and diabetes. And these are all either genetic or they are brought upon by these unhealthy diets that we live and breathe by. My second point is the United States actually has a few states that have already passed this soda tax law, and it has actually been very beneficial for them. Like, if we look at Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, they passed this tax in 2017, and they have raised a revenue of $39.3 billion in just the last 2 years. So that is an incredible amount of money off of just this one tax. The third point that I bring up is people can choose to pay for these sugary drinks. It's not mandatory. If you want to be unhealthy and you want to go buy a drink, but it's going to come with a cost. So now that we've looked into the money and health problems, so let's take a look at some of the questions that you might encounter with these people. So that people have against this taxation. So first question that is mainly brought up is they argue that crime could be introduced in the cities when this tax takes effect. Which, yes, that is true. Crime could pop up in some areas of the city, although nothing that major will occur, not like violence and death or anything like that. These small crimes are going to be like smuggling in drinks from out of state and bringing them in and selling them for cheaper illegally in some areas, which is not really going to bring up that much of a problem. The second question that we encounter is usually when sales decrease because of this higher tax and this higher price on the value of the beverage, will people lose their jobs? Yes, well, let's say no, because people will not lose their jobs over a slight increase in value. People are still going to buy these drinks no matter what, and it's not like these big corporations like Coca-Cola and like all the other ones, they're not going to lose a ton of equity to where they're going to have to shut down. They may lose some equity in some areas that have passed this tax, but nothing considerably major that will inevitably shut them down. So no real jobs will be lost. Third, people will ask, isn't this kind of tax regressive? This tax is no, because these taxes are usually excise taxes and not sales taxes. Excise taxes are taxes that are put toward the seller and not the buyer. If the seller is willing to take a small pay cut, then they can sell the beverages for less than the full amount of tax. So there's that. But that's if the seller is willing to do that. Now that we have kind of looked at all over the arguments and concerns that people may have, let's go over why this tax is positive rather than negative. So we've looked over why soda is a big problem and the health concerns in the United States. We have also covered how this tax positively affects the health care profit for many common low-income households. We have also covered some of the solutions that this tax has offered, such as reducing consumption of the beverages to help prevent death through non-communicable diseases. We have seen how much revenue can be earned through these taxes alone in just a few years, and how this tax is a choice and it's not mandatory. We also have covered a few of the arguments that can easily be answered now that we have the knowledge to actually back these taxes up. And I believe that this tax can actually save lives if we pass this tax, and it'll save us a lot of money too. So please vote yes if you have a hankering for sweet deals and health care and saving a few lives in the process. Thank you.